One tonight we're going to call the planning commission meeting for Monday, June 9th, 2025 to order at 7 p.m. I'm going to do a roll call. Commissioner Russell,
Present.
Commissioner Wood,
Here.
Commissioner Borka,
Present.
Commissioner Beisel,
Present.
Vice Chairman Noy,
Here.
and I am here. That is 6 members present. We have enough for a quorum to conduct business. Now I want to ask for a motion for the adoption of the agenda. Motion by Vice Chairman Noy. Can I get a
Ordered.
second? By
Orca.
Walker, thank you. Get a vote on that. Commissioner Russell,
Yes.
Commissioner Wood,
Yes.
Commissioner Beisel,
Yes.
Commissioner Borka,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Noy,
I approve.
and I approve. That carries 6-0. Now we will have a motion to adopt approval of the minutes from the May 12th, 2025 meeting.
Make a motion to approve the May 12th meeting minutes.
Motion to approve May 12th is made by Commissioner Borka,
I'll second.
second by Commissioner Beisel, excuse me. We'll go to a vote. Commissioner Russell,
Approve.
Commissioner Wood,
Yes.
Commissioner Beisel,
Approve.
Commissioner Borka,
Approve.
Vice Chairman Noy,
I approve.
and I approve. That motion carries 6-0. At this point, now we'll have introduction of action item on the agenda, presentation by town staff.
Good evening, Mr. Chair and members of the commission. We have before you a resolution regarding a recommendation to the town council for approval of the proposed draft comprehensive plan update and implementation matrix. And I have a brief presentation that I'd like to share with you this evening. So of course, we are in the final presentation plan and adoption phase and action of the process. And the document is now 233 pages and includes 46 figures, an overview and 9 chapters, an implementation chapter with actions and timeframes. In addition to the chapters, the 2014 plan was updated to include a chapter on economic growth, and a chapter on health and public safety was added to reflect both to reflect priorities in the town's adopted strategic plan and also comments received during the public engagement period. A link to the appendices was also added on the website, and a summary of the public engagement feedback is included. The town's strategic plan is included. The town's capital improvement plan is included, and 5 other documents. Process and status since the last presentation to the town council. Acknowledgements have been included, and an updated engagement process. Additional information describing the plan and why it's being updated. An updated schedule, and amended text to reflect comments was also included. So again, the update includes 9 chapters, 25 vision statements, 25 goals corresponding with the vision statements, 63 policies, and 355 actions listed here in the table. And actions by chapter, the most in transportation and infrastructure at 26%, then land use and livability at 20%, natural resources and the environment 14%, and on down the line. Actions are identified by type. administrative actions, capital projects, code amendments, interagency agreements, and additional plans. And actions are identified by time frame. The majority at 52% are short-term items to be completed within 2 years. An additional 13% are short to midterm to begin in the short term, but be completed in the midterm within 5 years. Then projects or actions that will span the 20-year period, potentially span the 20-year period of the updated plan, and that's an additional 14.1%. 17.8% of the action items would be between 3 and 5 years, started in 3 years and then completed within 5 years. Mid to long started in 3 years and completed within 20 years at 2.8%. And we actually have one item that is considered long range, and that item is long range because it relates to the Overlook Park, and that does not revert to town ownership or oversight until the 10-year period, which is considered long range. And then, so what's next? The draft plan is currently on the town website for public review. The town council scheduled a public hearing for their June 17th meeting. Tonight we have a resolution with a recommendation by the Planning Commission for town council. And if the plan is updated, we will make the final changes and prepare the document for printing and placement on the town's website. We will work with the town manager to identify responsible staff to implement each action. We will develop an implementation monitoring reporting process and schedule, and we will begin implementation and reporting on the status. So let's see, I'll try to quickly go to the town website. And this is the added implementation chapter. And let's see. And again, each element or chapter includes a policy and action, action type, and time frame. And we can see it listed here. And again, each each chapter or element is identified and color-coded within the section. I'm happy to respond to any questions that you may have.
All right. I'll open it up to commissioners for any questions. Start with you, Commissioner Beisel, if you don't mind.
Yeah, no, this is a lot of work. It looks great. I know that it's been a long time coming. And I think just as things get started, it might be cool to see if this same software that generated this was able to say if a project's been started, if it's in progress, and when it's been completed. And aside from that, like I said, it looks great.
That's it? Okay. Commissioner Wood, if you don't mind.
I don't have any comments.
Okay. Commissioner Russell.
I would just like to thank staff for putting this together, working with the consultants, working with us, and working with the town. The one thing that's always on my mind is engaging the community. I know the town staff has been very adamant and very engaging with the town, and I would ask that the town, people living in the town would try to review or at least look at this and see if anything catches their eye that they're interested in, or something that they're concerned about. Because again, this is a living document. It's constantly changing, and we're always looking for engagement with our with the residents of the town. That's all I have.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Borka.
No comment.
Okay, Vice Chairman Noy.
I'm with Commissioner Beisel. If there is a way that for the public, we can have the ability to where the public can track the progress.
Sure.
So there's a mechanism for that. That'd be great. That's all I have.
Okay, and I'm in agreement with the other commissioners on that. And you actually answered my question about, because you all know that I was really hung up on that time frame thing. You know, that I don't see anything in this town taking 30 years to complete, or even 20 for that matter. But based on that, you know, what you're saying, the 10-year, how do you put that again? You have to, there's a 10-year period that has to.
Right, the park reverts to the town in 10 years. And that's the only item that is a long-term item. Everything else is short or midterm, and midterm is completed within 5 years, actually.
Yeah, 'cause mid to.
Oh, I'm sorry. Some items do extend to long-term and for the duration.
Right, mid to long is considered 3 to 20.
I'm sorry. Right.
And that's items in reference to natural resources and environment, I believe.
Well, various items, right, throughout the document.
Okay. But of course, I'm assuming that staff will do their due diligence in reference to pushing things forward for that as much as can be.
Absolutely.
So that we're not dragging our feet on it. Because I don't want to be 90 years old in a nursing home before I get a chance to really enjoy the things that we're trying to see come to fruition.
Right.
With my walker. Okay. Commissioner Brogan, sorry.
I make a motion that we approve the resolution approving a recommendation to the town council regarding comprehensive plan update.
Thank you, sir.
I'll second it.
Got a motion and a second on that. We will take that to a vote. Commissioner Wood. Commissioner Beisel.
Approved.
Commissioner Russell. Commissioner Borka. Vice Chairman Noy.
Approve.
And I approve. That motion carries 6-0.
Thank you very much. And thank you so much for your support and involvement and engagement in the process. Couldn't have done it without you.
Thank you, sir. At this point, now we will open up for new business. We're gonna open it, this up to public hearing. Or is that after this presentation?
If I could provide a few words and then we open it up, that would be appreciated. Great. Can we go to the next presentation, please? Thank you. So this evening, we have before you for consideration a resolution approving a conditional use permit to allow the cultural arts, entertainment, and events use at 17715 Washington Street, which is an allowable use with conditions. So the Town of Dumfries Town Council approved an amendment to the town code to add the definition of cultural arts, entertainment, and events use and permit the use in the B1, B2 zoning districts with conditions in February 2025 as recommended by the Planning Commission. This is an application for a conditional use permit to allow the cultural arts, entertainment, and events use at 17715 Washington Street, The property is zoned B2 Neighborhood Business District, and the use is an allowable use with the following conditions. Events must end by 10 p.m. Sunday through Thursday, and 1 a.m. 10 p.m. That should be Monday through Thursday, and 1 a.m. Saturday and Sunday. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And must meet all relevant code requirements in the town, including those related to buildings, noise, and fire. This illustrates the zoning, and the arrow is pointing to the property where the conditional use is requested. And we can see that the property is located within a B2 neighborhood business district, and adjacent properties are zoned R2 general residential. And this is an aerial view which shows the property and open space to the right or north, commercial use to the south or left, town hall, this public use is to the east or to the bottom, and residential to the top or west. And then the image on the right shows a perspective view of the property. We can see parking surrounded by various equipment and structures. The recommendation from staff is approval of the CUP 2025-001, the requested conditional use permit to allow the cultural arts, entertainment, and events use at 17715 Washington Street, an allowable use with conditions, with the following conditions. Events must end by 10 p.m. Sunday through Friday, and 1 a.m. Saturday and Sunday. Must meet all relevant code requirements in the town, including those related to buildings, fire, and noise. Thank you.
And I think that last slide, that was Thursday.
Correct.
Thank you.
On our paperwork, I do think that the times are maybe a typo here. But it should be Friday and Saturday where it does end at 1 a.m. and Sunday through Thursday at 10 p.m.
But it's 1 a.m. Saturday morning, 1 a.m. Sunday morning.
Right. Okay. I see.
And so that way Friday night, Saturday night, they could have the event, the longer events.
There we go.
We went through this with the town council.
Right. Right.
It reads funny, so
Right.
appreciate the clarification.
And we can open the public hearing if you so choose.
Yeah, we're gonna open the public hearing up at 7:19, and you're the applicant, correct? So this time, if you want to come forward and present something to us, that would be welcome. If you don't have anything to present, we'll ask for anyone who may have something, but
We didn't have anything.
okay. Well, we will close the public hearing at 7:20 then, and we will enter into comments from the commissioners at this point. I will start with, as I'm looking to the right, Commissioner Bizel, if you don't mind.
Yeah, we've worked through this one, I think, pretty thoroughly. So no comment.
Okay. Commissioner Wood?
I know in our discussion, we talked about as far as like parking. And I know that that comes later on when there is occupancy permit. But as far as the CUP, where I want to say, I think that they meet all the requirements. If I'm wrong, if someone can correct me. But they meet everything they need to get the CUP. Is that correct? Okay.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Mr. Russell?
During our work session, we commented, it- as far as we have reviewed and see, it does seem like they are compliant with the requirements of their application and the town requirements. However, there was, and this may be either added to this application or for future applications, but it would be the recommendation to be considered to have all of the tabulations for the parking on the actual CUP plan, so that information is right there and there's no questioning of how many parking spaces are there supposed to be, what is it based on. I just would like to see all that on the plan itself, but this application looks like it meets every other requirements that are needed.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Borka.
No comments other than already made.
Okay. Commissioner Vice Chairman Noy.
Yes, if I could make a point, would it be appropriate for me to ask a question of the applicant? If I could?
I think it would, because I was going to.
Okay. Only question for the applicant is, do you have a plan already mapped out as far as overflow parking for any events? Because I know that we're space constrained both on Washington, Cameron, and Fairfax streets, and we know that parking on Route 1 won't work, so.
Yeah, one thing that we were looking
Can you,
at.
can you?
Yeah, so we can get you on.
So one of the items that we were looking at previously, and it's looking like that may end up being the overflow route, is working with the town to allow us to use town parking on those days where if there might be overflow. But the parking that we have, we believe is going to suffice for any event that we have. But that is a route that we were looking.
I have a thought on that. What about some of the other churches in the town? We've got like 20-something churches and we've got parking that probably will not be having events at 10 o'clock on a Friday night.
That could work too. The parking that's located over here is actually a lot closer than if we were to look at parking down, let's say Washington Street, at the church down there. This is actually closer than that.
Sure.
And if we do end up going that route, say if there's an event where we would end up requesting overflow parking, we would then hire a police officer to allow people coming back and forth for traffic.
That was my own. I have a question for staff, but I'll let you go.
Okay.
For the.
So my issue with what you were just saying about parking, and when this first came to us, this has been my concern, is I'm not in support of people crossing that road after an event, especially, depending on what type of event it is and, what may be going on, if there's, any alcohol involved or anything like that further down the line. I'm not in support of them coming across that road. So personally, I would like to see a alternative plan to that plan. We've expressed our concerns with staff in relation to that.
No, I agree on that end. One thing that we're looking at, we would have a police officer that we hire to be able to be stationary there for the duration of the event. So not just at the beginning, but for the entire event. So that's one way that we're looking at it. This parking that we're looking at here is not our long-term goal and is not our long-term vision. We are looking at creating our own parking eventually. It is very costly. This is going to be the first step towards that. So it is not the long-term solution, but in the short term, at least, if there is any event that we anticipate more parking needed, then we would hire a police officer and ask for the town's approval for that.
So when you say eventually, you have any type of idea of a time frame that you plan on implementing that parking?
We're hoping within a year, so within a calendar year. But again, there's certain things that are going to need to get presented through the town and go through the process for that. So I'm not 100%.
I think VDOT
Yeah.
would probably be involved
Yeah.
at that point as well.
Okay.
The entrance, that parking would require.
That- There will be certain, obviously y'all know that there'll be certain codes within the town in addition to VDOT, conditions is gonna have to be met. So
Correct.
that's something that, you're gonna have to deal with moving forward. But I just do not like that. I'm just gonna be straight up about it. I don't like that idea of anybody coming across that street with the amount of speeding that goes on with this police department right here on this drag. An officer out there alone is not going to be enough of a deterrent, in my view. So I would ask that, you really do look at your coming up with a alternative plan more, expeditiously rather than that process goes out. If the town staff agrees to let that, happen, that's beyond our control anyway. But that's all I've got.
Okay.
Anyone else want to add anything? Or- Good.
I just have for staff.
Go ahead.
Thank you. For, question for staff, if that organization grows, right now it's B1, B2 district, you said that you have to go through, or we can make a recommendation to town staff, change the zoning once Main Street gets closed off and we do the Route 1 widening?
Mhm.
Okay, all right. Is that something, if they grow, would it then outgrow that B1, B2 district?
The zoning district would encompass the area as opposed to, individual properties. I guess there's a term used sometimes, spot zoning, and that is not permitted legally, where one particular property is zoned and the adjacent properties are another zone. So we would have to collectively look at the area and the zoning and land use of the area.
'Cause I know when they mentioned VDOT, maybe getting VDOT involved, I know that's in a very good discussion. as far as-
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. And something else for town staff is just, again, because we're space constrained along Fairfax and Washington, is maybe adding some sort of signage
Mm.
to let folks know that they need to park where they need to park.
Mhm.
Yeah. I'm good, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Russell.
I have one question for staff. As far as the permit itself, it's supposed to be, is the town's requirement that it has to be done by a professional licensed engineer or architect or landscape architect or surveyor?
Yes, that is in the code with regard to site plans, which would include the specific parking information, including each individual delineated parking space.
Are they supposed to be licensed in Virginia
Yes,
specifically?
yes.
Then on this application, the seal is seal is for Maryland.
Again, this is not a submitted site plan.
Okay.
This is a preliminary site plan that was submitted
So it
with
meets
the
those,
application.
the town's requirements or there is no need to be sealed.
For the CUP, correct. In fact, there's no site plan requirement for the CUP. It's just based on the use and the zoning of the property.
So there is a site plan that will be required for this application.
Yes, that site plan will be required for the any construction permits and a certificate of occupancy.
And at that point, it has to be
Yes.
certified
Yes.
by,
Yes.
sealed by a
Yes.
professional
Yes.
licensed in the state of Virginia.
I know that it's a license. I'll have to review the code requirement. I know that it's a licensed professional. I'm not sure if they have to be licensed in Virginia, but I'll have to search the code for that.
Okay. So if no other commissioners have any comments, I would like to get a motion from one of you in relation to this, in relation to approving this application for a CUP for the cultural arts, entertainment, and events used at 17715 Washington Street.
I'll make a motion to vote to approve the conditional permit.
Okay, thank you. Can I have a second?
I'll second that.
Motion by Commissioner Beisel, second by Commissioner Wood. And we will vote on that. Commissioner Wood,
Yes.
Commissioner Russell,
Approved.
Commissioner Beisel,
Approved.
Commissioner Borka,
No.
Vice Chairman, Noe,
I approve.
and that is a no for me. So that motion carries 4-2. And we move forward with that. At this point, now I would like to have a open forum for commissioners. Let's start with, I'm gonna start with Commissioner Russell. Do you have any comments, or anything in relation to anything?
At this time, no major, I would just like to reiterate that for all citizens of the town of Dumfries, please take a look at the comprehensive plan. Please take a look at the proposed changes and see if there's anything on there that is of interest or concern to you, so you can be part of the process. Again, it's a living document, and if you do not participate, then you are not part of the process. That's all I have.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Wood?
No comments.
Okay, Commissioner Beisel?
Yeah, I mean, I say the same thing frequently, and just that we have a beautiful town here. I like us to pay attention to, if there's any trash or anything on the road. One other thought that came up tonight, just with pedestrian safety crossing Route 1, and I think we are moving in the direction, is pedestrian bridges. I think can be very beneficial to a community, especially when you're talking about traveling over a busy road. So we could absolutely implement pedestrian bridges in places. So I think we do have one going on the exit ramp of I-95 correctly, coming off of southbound towards 234. Is that correct? Or a walkway, at least.
I think it's a tunnel.
A tunnel, okay, a tunnel. Yeah, tunnels, bridges. I mean, that's the best way to allow pedestrians to flow without impacting traffic. So that's what I got.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Borka?
I think in about 3 years after the widening project towards completion, that Main Street will drastically slow down in how much traffic. So we're not waiting 10 minutes to cross the street, literally from here to Washington Street on our car. So that'll make a difference when the widening project is done for everybody.
Thank you, sir. Bennett? Commissioner, Vice Chairman Noe?
Nothing for me, Chair.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. And my comment is just piggyback off of what Commissioner Russell has said and stressed again, and all of us, you in the community, our citizens, we encourage you to get involved in these processes. Get involved on these boards, because we are real people making real decisions, and we collaborate with each other to try to make the best decisions for our community. I don't feel like any one of us up here has our own personal interests at heart. We really want to do what's best for the community, but if we don't have the community involvement, that we want or we need or your input, then it's not fair to the commissioners or the council for people to gripe about it, just being frank. So if it's something that you'd like to see change, or an idea that you have, or you watch these meetings and you get a thought, jot it down, send someone, at staff an email, come to a meeting, express your concerns. Because most of the times when we have meetings, we don't see anyone unless there's something to fuss about. But we don't always want that. We want positive reinforcement and involvement from you as our constituents and our community partners. So we really, really, really encourage you all to get involved. We got boards now that we need involvement on. We've got things that are kind of being put on hold because we don't have enough involvement. So if anyone out there wants to get involved, please step forward, send an email, and become one of these boards. Become a part of one of these boards. That's all I have. You good?
Yes, I did want to thank Commissioner Nez.
Thank you. And I did forget, and I had that in my head too. We started talking about that involvement, and I'm big on that one too, so I forgot. We had our longest tenured commissioner, Commissioner Niaz, resigned last week. She ended up having to move out of the town of Dumfries, so she is no longer on the board. We will greatly miss her input, her wit, her commitment to this community. She was on here when every one of us got on this board. She was already here doing her work, and she's been doing that for many years. So if you're watching, Commissioner Niaz, we appreciate you. We love you. We hope you and your family the best. And you ever move back into town, we got a seat for you. So that being said, hats off to her for the work that she's done. Anyone else want to comment on in relation to that? Okay. All right, then. At this point, I will ask for a motion to adjourn this meeting.
Motion.
Motion given by Vice Chairman Noy. Can I get a second? Okay. Second by Commissioner Wood. We will take that to a vote. Commissioner Beisel?
Approved.
Commissioner Borka?
Approve.
Commissioner Wood? Commissioner Russell?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Noy?
Yes.
And I approve. That motion carries 6-0. Adjournment time is 7:39 p.m.